What's up? What's up? Drop in the comments if you came over here from TikTok. What's up, Mauricio? We have people a couple minutes to come in over here from TikTok. Seemed like a lot of people wanted to talk about it. So, you know, I had 130, 140 people on the TikTok stream, and about at least 20 people said they wanted to talk about DeFi after I kind of laid out how powerful it was. And I ended my stream to come over here. So I do hope enough people are coming over that said they wanted to learn about it. Thank you, everyone, coming in. What's up? What's up? Let me know in the chat if you came over from TikTok. ABC came in. Aaron, Omed, welcome back. Yeah, Mauricio. Yeah, Omed, I don't know. I don't know what's about that. I don't know that that's a crazy thing. I'm not a very tech guy. Please understand that I'm not doing anything nefarious. Okay. Stan, welcome in. Aaron, welcome in. Canadian boy, James Dunn, what's up, buddy? And with that being said, I think most places you ever buy anything, save your debt, but I don't know. It's not like some setting I put up, okay? Realize I'm not trying to do anything. So please don't come at me like I am. I don't appreciate that. I really don't. If you did get it, I hope you got a chance to go through it. Omid, I'm not a very tech guy. I can barely set up a website, okay? And I don't see why that's such a big deal anyways. But I don't know how to change it, not like I set it up. Regardless, please be cool. If you got the course, please go through it, okay? If you're uncomfortable with whatever settings it has, then don't get it. I mean, I'm fine either way. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not trying to do something. Anyways, I'm not going to derail into that anymore. All right, everybody. I think everybody's in here. Let's dive into this today. You all came over here from TikTok. You want to learn more about DeFi. So I'm going to show you some stuff about how it works. So over here, there's basically three things you can do in DeFi. By the way, let me just take a quick poll. Put a 1 in the chat if you're here for the DeFi content to learn more about that. I want to make sure I have the right people in here. Spaced Humans is definitely here for it. ABC, Mauricio, Aaron. Okay. Spaced Humans is really here for it. All right. So there's basically, in DeFi, there's basically three things you can do. You can be the bank, you can be the house, and you can be Coinbase or Visa. That's what I call them. So let me explain. Being the bank, how does a bank make money? A bank makes money by lending money and getting interest on it. So let's start there. In DeFi, decentralized finance, I can go to sites and I can borrow money. I can borrow Solana, I can borrow Bitcoin, I can borrow Ethereum, I can borrow stablecoin, I can borrow a lot of things. But I can also lend all those things also. It's a lot safer than it sounds. Let me just show you real quick. I mostly use it for stablecoins, right? So over here, currently I'm getting almost 9%. That's a little low. Usually I'm getting at least 10%. And this is on the PayPal stablecoin over here. And the place I'm using to do that is Camino right there. That's over on the Solana network. And how that works is, say I have $1,000 in stablecoin. I go deposit it in, say, Camino. And someone comes along and wants to borrow my $1,000. I don't need to know they want to borrow it. I don't have to do anything. They can just borrow it. But before they borrow it, they have to put up collateral. So if they want to borrow $1,000 in stablecoin from me, they've got to deposit probably about $1,500 worth of collateral. Maybe that's Solana token or Ethereum token, or maybe it's more stablecoin. I don't know. I don't really care. So they deposit, say, $1,500 of Solana, and they borrow my $1,000 of stablecoin, and now they're going to be paying me interest to the tune of usually around 10%. And that accrues every day. And then you may be wondering, well, what if the Solana goes down? Yeah, that's a good question. So if the Solana goes from 1,500, say, down to 1,200, and remember they borrowed $1,000, well, guess what? The protocol, the lending protocol, will immediately sell their Solana to pay me back plus my interest. So I'm very safe that way. Does that make sense? And that's basically how Be the Bank works. Be the House, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you at least basically understood that explanation of what being the bank in DeFi is. We're lending money. We could be lending Solana, we could be lending Ethereum. I mostly use it to lend stablecoin. And someone can borrow it, and they pay interest when they borrow it. But in order to borrow it, they need to put up more in collateral than they're borrowing. And if their collateral goes down in value, it gets sold to pay me back plus my interest. So very secured that way. A lot of 1s came in. That's Be the Bank. Pretty interesting, right? Because think about it. Instead of my money, my dollars sitting in the bank paying me 0% interest, it could be over here paying me 9%, 10%, just sitting there, right? And this protocol has over $600 million in it. You know, what's really interesting about actual banks, when you deposit money there, do you realize every deposit you make in a bank, you're actually lending the bank money? Do you realize that? That when you see your account balance, that's not your money. That's the amount the bank owes you. Isn't that funny? And they borrow your money from you and pay you 0. What a world, right? Well, if someone's going to borrow my money, I might as well be getting an interest rate on it. And I can very quickly, like almost instantly, withdraw my money whenever I want and send it right back into being able to use in the traditional system, okay? So you guys basically understand that. The next thing is Be the House. Be the House. When I say this, fill in the blank. The house always blank. What comes to mind? The house always blank. The bank does owe you money. That's what your balance is. The house always blank. Fill in the blank. Wins. Exactly. The house always wins. And when I say house, casino. So wouldn't it be nice if you could be the casino instead of just being the gambler? Does that get you excited? Do you like that idea? Is that crazy to be the house? Well, in DeFi, the house is trading platforms, right? You know what traders are, and I trade, but I was really bad at trading for years before I got good. And I got to tell you, as a whole, most traders lose money, no doubt about it. I'm talking 90% of traders lose money in the long run, period. So to be on the other side of that, to be the house on the other side of the traders is a pretty good position to be in, right? Because when they get liquidated, when they lose money on their position, which is most of the time, guess where that money goes? To me or you, whoever's acting as the house. And we can all act as the house. The traders themselves can act as the house if they want. That's the beauty of DeFi, is no one needs to give you permission to do it. You can just do it. You can deposit and be the house, and you can withdraw and not be the house anymore whenever you want, right? So let me show you this over here. Over the last year, this platform, EdgeX, this platform right here over the last year has paid almost 68% return on stablecoin by allowing me to be the house. And that's not my return, that's just the return. Because they have this big pool over here of money, right? $120 million currently. And that pool of money has earned almost 68% over the last year, completely passively. I just deposit my money and it just sits there, being the house, betting against the gamblers. And I can withdraw the interest I've earned and my deposit whenever I want. Whenever I want. Are some light bulbs going off for you? Are some light bulbs going off for you? Are you starting to get a little excited? Let me know. I'm a guy sitting in a room talking at his phone. I do appreciate your responses. Boo Chitty Fifi. It's funny, I was just thinking about that movie the other day. Was it Bang Bang Chitty Bang? What is it? What is that movie? But how does the house work and how to participate? Well, I'm getting to that. But it's the same, like, how does it work? Well, how does it work? Like, you already know the answer. Like, if people are going somewhere and trading, they do longs and shorts and leverage trading. Well, guess what? They're doing it on a platform. That platform is the house. But that platform needs money to facilitate the traders, right? A casino needs money to facilitate the gambling games. That money comes from you and me. And that's why we get the lion's share of the fees when the traders lose, and they lose most of the time. Willy Wonka. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's what it is. Thank you. So those were the first two strategies. Both of those are ideal for getting yield, nice yield on stablecoins. That's what I find them to be the best for. But the one I showed you before, where I was earning Bitcoin, let me ask you, does the idea of passively earning Bitcoin, stablecoin, Ethereum, and Solana, passively just earning it, does that idea get you excited? Because the next thing I'm going to show you is that. And again, I'm a dude sitting alone in a room. Your comments are really appreciated, so I'd feel less crazy. And I want to make sure, get a gauge that what I'm saying is making sense or not. Hyperliquid and Aster. Well, Aster, I don't know if you can do that. I have never used Aster. I don't trust it. But yeah, Hyperliquid, you can do that. Yeah, that's what being the house is. Yeah, and EdgeX is the other one that I just showed. The kids were on the house. Yes, very exciting. So the next thing, right, we talked about being the bank and being the house. Hit the like button, by the way, if you're appreciating this so far, these insights, because I only see one like up there. That makes me sad. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Could you be a deer and hit the like button? I see one like. Ouch. Oh, well, one more like. We just doubled. That's good. Yeah, that's steering away from the topic. And that's also part of the reason why I'm showing this. So this is something very different than what most people do. Because about 2 billion people have ever bought or sold a crypto coin. But less than 0.1% know how to use DeFi. So the opportunity is very different. So let me show you this over here. I talked about being the bank and being the house. Now, I'm going to talk about what I call being Coinbase. You're not Coinbase. You can't do this on Coinbase or anything like that. What I mean is Coinbase is a centralized exchange, and it makes money from fees. When people do transactions, they pay a fee, and that fee goes to Coinbase. Do you understand that? Let me know, yes, you understand that? Because it's important to understand that before I show you how to be Coinbase. ABC gets it, Mauricio gets it. I don't know, do I need to explain it again? Let me know if you need me to explain it again, how Coinbase makes money. Because it's imperative to understanding how we make money over here by being Coinbase. Does anyone need me to explain it again? You're welcome, Mauricio. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. So, wouldn't it be nice if every time someone did a transaction, you got paid a fee? That'd be pretty awesome, right? Would that kind of change everything? We'll come back to that. Let me flip this around. So over here, right, I opened this up around Thanksgiving, so about 45 days ago. I put in $2,200, right? And why did I put in $2,200? For one, in this particular wallet, I had $2,200 of stable coins sitting there that I didn't want to buy crypto with, but I didn't want to let it just sit there. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to put it to work in DeFi. And this is going to be my teaching wallet. And I'm going to show people what they can do with a small amount of money, right? Because one thing that I really hate is when people show 6, 7, 8-figure portfolios. It gets a lot of views, but I think it's pretty harmful and very unhelpful for most people by far, because it sets unrealistic expectations and all this stuff. So I thought, you know what? How about I set up some realistic expectations for people to show them what they can do with an amount of money most people probably have access to. Like, let me know in the chat, like $2,200. Is that an amount of money that you're comfortable putting out there and that you don't need to pay rent or something like that? Let me know. James says yes. Mauricio, ABC. Exactly. And most people are like, oh, yeah, I mean, if you're investing in crypto or anything, like you probably don't have $0, because if you have $0 or just a couple $100, what are you doing investing? Like, you need to work on growing your income. And everyone should work on growing their income regardless, but that's another topic. So if you're an investor, $2,200 shouldn't really be much money. So I was like, you know what, this is a good amount to show people what they could be doing instead of just speculating on meme coins and all this other shit, especially since it looks like we're in a downtrend. And I have a primary focus on accumulating Bitcoin for the long term. That's my primary focus. So if I can use DeFi to passively accumulate Bitcoin, well, that'd be pretty fucking amazing, right? Everyone knows about DCA, and I believe in DCA, but not all DCA is equal. If I spend $10 a day just buying Bitcoin at any price, well, that's going to make me money over time. If I only DCA, when Bitcoin's below a certain percentage of its all-time high, well, that's probably going to help me even more. But if I can DCA Bitcoin every day for free, holy shit. And that's what being the Coinbase strategy allows us to do. So going back over here, again, around Thanksgiving, so about 45 days ago, I put in about $2,200, and I've been in two positions, mostly in this one. I just ramped this one up a little bit a few days ago for the hell of it. So $2,200, and over the last 45 days, in fees, I've collected that much. And that's mostly in Bitcoin and stablecoin. It's all in Bitcoin, stablecoin, and Hyperliquid. Like, look, over the past about day and a half, on $1,600, I've accumulated almost $11, right? Half of it in Bitcoin, half of it in stablecoin. Do you understand what that feels like to just wake up and check your account and you've earned Bitcoin? You've earned stablecoin? It's fucking amazing. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here talking about this. And so since I do think we're in a bear market, and in 2026 will be a red year, and I think we'll get probably into the 40s. That's what it looks like to me. I'm in full-on Bitcoin accumulation mode because I want to get as much Bitcoin this year as I can. Does that sound like a decent goal to you? So what I'm doing here, sorry, I opened my camera or something. I'm accumulating Bitcoin, but I'm also accumulating stablecoin. What do you think I plan on doing with that stablecoin? What do you think I plan on doing with that stablecoin? Take a guess. ABC says, glad I'm here. Glad you're here. Mauricio, beautiful passive income, beautiful. I don't really regard it as income though. It is taxable as income, right? So that's important to understand, but you can't make money without paying taxes. So that doesn't even really matter to me, but it is regarded as income. But I don't use it as income. I don't use this to pay my bills or rent or my phone bill or something. I just use it to grow my investment portfolio. ABC got it. Yes, I'm gonna use that stable coin to buy Bitcoin later because I think Bitcoin's going down this year. I think we're in a bear market. That's what everything looks like to me. And if I'm wrong, oh well. I've accumulated free Bitcoin and I got cash sitting on the side, stable coin, to be deployed at some other point. And in the meantime, when I go over here, right, and say I, claim my yield, like I've done with going up on $800 now, when I claim that, the Bitcoin, I send it off to a different wallet so I can just save it over there. And then the stable coin, I put to work somewhere like this, where it's getting me almost 10%. Now, if you wanted, you could just keep compounding this into here, but I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I see how much I've earned and keep it, right? I want to just keep it separate. So the stable coin I'll put off somewhere over here and let it grow into more stable coin while I wait for Bitcoin to come into the 40s or 50s later in the year. And if nothing else, oh well. I've got free cash that I'm earning every day that I'm now getting yield on. Remember, you're getting 0 in the bank, getting 10% over here is pretty good. And then over here, I'm earning Hyperliquid and Bitcoin. I like Hyperliquid. But most of my money is going to be sitting over here because I have a long-term goal of accumulating Bitcoin. But I'm also accumulating Bitcoin over here. And again, last 45 days, accumulated about that much. That's my favorite place for accumulating Bitcoin. Bitcoin and stablecoin, but Bitcoin. There's also, I have a favorite place for accumulating Ethereum, and I have a favorite place for accumulating Solana. Let me know if you want to see those, or if you're just like, no, Bitcoin's good enough. Because I'm not accumulating Ethereum or Solana, but I know where the best places are to do it. Let me know, put a 1 in the chat if you want me to show you what kind of yields are going on for Ethereum and Solana right now. Through the Coinbase strategy. All right, some ones came in. Have you hit the subscribe button yet? Because I want to start doing live streams from here on YouTube. If you subscribe and turn on notifications, you'll get alerted to when I do it. So my favorite place to get Ethereum is over here. Now, right now it's paying, I don't know, about 30%. And I don't want to minimize that because 30% is fucking amazing. That means you're 1 Ethereum. By the end of the year, it's 1.3 Ethereum. That's amazing. But this is a good point to show is that, it's often higher than this. It just depends on how much volume is going on, right? The more swaps people are doing in a day, the higher the yield is going to be because when they do a swap, they pay a fee. So the more swaps, the more fees are paid into the pool. That's what this is, a pool. So this is probably the best place to earn Ethereum, and the best place to earn Solana is over here. And I like this pool right here, Solana USDC. And currently, Solana price is at 138. So if what we did is say, hey, you know what? Solana, let me lower this a little bit. Let's say, Solana's at 138. So I could set this pool that I'm in. I can say, you know what? All the swaps between 135 and 141 that happen with Solana and USDC, I'm going to be collecting all those fees. And right now, that range, look at that, 161%. Getting paid to me in Solana and USDC. Now, if it goes out of range, all I have to do is readjust the range, right? I can just sit here and say, say it goes above 141.80, well, then I just have to readjust the range. So overall, being Coinbase is pretty passive. It's just when price goes out of your range, you just need to readjust it. right? And I got to do that. Depending on how tight your range is, you can do a broader range, you'll get a lower APR, but it's maximum passive. Or you can have a tighter range, and it's going to be a little bit more active, but it's going to get maximum APR. So figuring out where you want to be and what's best for you is what really matters there. Mauricio says I'm subscribed. So that's really kind of a rundown of DeFi. Let me know, did you guys like this? Did this open your eyes to some stuff? Did you learn some new stuff here today? Are you seeing the value and, dare I say, the need to do this type of stuff? What if you miss the range while you're sleeping? No big deal. You just adjust it when you see it. Not a big deal. Sometimes you'll be out of range and not notice it, and then you can just quickly readjust it. Not a big deal. But never understood and had real interest, but now I do. Awesome. So you guys know now, like, hey, I got to go learn this stuff. I got to do this. I can't sleep on it. Because imagine you were over here, doing this. I've been doing this for 45 days on just $2,200 in this wallet, and I've made that much. Imagine how much you would have made if you knew about this last January. Imagine where you'd be today. Pretty wild to think about, right? Kind of disgusting to think about. But now you know. And so next January, if you learn how to do this now, imagine what next January will look like. Imagine how much Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, stablecoin you would have accumulated for free, passively, just by having this skill, the asset of knowing how to use DeFi. Pretty wild to think about, right? So here's where we go. What are your options? I can't teach you how to use it on a live stream. I can show it to you and lay it out and show it to you, but I can't teach you how to do it on a live stream. It would be, I don't even know, it would be a lot of content, and it would probably be pretty choppy, and it would be exhausting for me. So you can go learn how, you can do nothing, which is an option, and frankly, that's probably what most of you will do, which is sad, but that's the truth. Humans, when we come across things, even when we find valuable things, we tend to do absolutely nothing with them. Myself included. 2, you can go out and keep learning and start piecing it all together to figure out how to do all this, which is better than doing nothing. It's gonna be filled with some bumps and some pain and frustration and mistakes, but it's better than doing nothing. And option 3, I have a course that shows you step by step how to do all this stuff, shows you the exact sites that I use and the best way to use them. And if you're interested, I'll show you the course. It's not free, it's not expensive, but it's not free, because free things I don't think people use, but if people pay for things, they tend to pay attention. Let me know, is it okay if I show you the course? Is it okay if I show that to you? Is that something you would like me to do? ABC says definitely. I'd like at least a few people to say yes, because I don't want to because I know how people get sensitive about courses, which kind of confuses me, but nonetheless they do. And so that's why I need permission to be able to do it. There's 16 of you on here. 2 of you have said yes. I don't want to piss people off. Well, ABC and Mauricio at least want me to. So if you're a person that was like, I don't want to hear anything about this, I get pissed off when people have courses, feel free to leave. I wish you well, I really do. I really do. But I believe in education. I believe investing in yourself. I believe in investing in your knowledge. And I have piles of free stuff I've gotten over the years, and I've almost never even opened any of it. And I've given away tons of good free stuff over the years. You know what I found? Almost no one even opens it. But things that I've bought, I've opened all of them. I've at least opened all of them and went through them. things that I've sold over the years, I find that almost most people by far open them and actually go through them, meaning they're much more likely to actually get the result. And that's what I want for you. I want you to get the result. I want you to get the skill, because you don't want the course. You don't want any of it. You want the skill. You want the asset of being able to use DeFi, and that's what the course is the easiest way for you to learn how to do that. Through piggybacking off my 6 years of experience and going straight to the sites that I actually use and me showing you step-by-step how to do them. And it's completely newbie friendly. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. No one needs to give you permission to do it, okay? And the course, when you get it, it's completely yours. It's yours. It's not like a subscription, one-time fee. The course is yours. Video step-by-step. So let me show it to you, because a number of you are asking about it now. So where the hell did I put it at? So it's over here, and I call it the DeFi Mastery Trainings, okay? So here's the intro video, and this is what it really looks like over here, but look at my weird face. I feel like it's just easier to show it to you like this, because it's more what it'll look like on your phone. I have an intro video telling you, here's what to expect, here's what's going on. And let me be very clear with you. In the beginning of doing this stuff, just start with a small amount of money, $100 or less, because in the beginning, it's not about the money. It's about learning how to do it. It's about building your comfort level and experience. And in the beginning, if you do exactly what I show you, you shouldn't make any mistakes, but in the beginning, you might make a mistake. So you want that mistake to be small. You want to build your comfort and experience level in the beginning. So please start out doing this with a small amount of money, and then you can just add to it. It won't be long before your comfort level and experience level grows, and then you can add to it, okay? Just take it slow. Now, before we even get into the true training, I have some links here that give you up to $100 in free Bitcoin. If for some reason you don't have a Coinbase account already, this link's gonna give you $30 in free Bitcoin. If you don't have a Gemini account, which I'll bet most of you don't, this is gonna give you $50 in free Bitcoin. And if you live in the US and you don't have a Fold account, it's gonna give you $20. And this is something I use almost every day. So right off the bat, you're getting up to $100 in free Bitcoin. I show you that, okay? And then we get into the training. I show you how to set up your wallets. These are the two wallets you're really gonna need. This is the one for the Solana network, and this is the one for the Ethereum, Base network, Hyperliquid network, etc. These are the only two that you really need. I show you how to use them, how to set them up, how to deposit, how to withdraw, how to keep them safe. And then, now depending on where you are in the world, you may need a VPN. If you're in the US, for some of these, you might need a VPN, not because it's illegal to use these sites, only because these sites specifically block US people, some of them, not because it's illegal, they just don't want to give the government a reason to come harass them, okay? That's the only reason. And frankly, today in 2026, being on the internet, you should have a VPN on all the time to protect your privacy. The one I mainly use is Proton VPN. It's free. Look at this. This is a free VPN. Right now, I'm in the Netherlands, apparently. Anyways, so then we get into the training. I show you my 3 favorite places for Be the Bank, right? This is where we mostly use stablecoin, and we earn interest off of lending that stablecoin. I show you my 3 favorite places. All of them earn around 10% on average, 10, 11% on average. Right now, it's about 9%, but last week it was 15%. And you're very protected in that if anyone's gonna borrow your stablecoin, they need to put up more collateral than they're borrowing. So if they're gonna borrow $1,000 from me, they gotta put up 1,500 in, say, Solana. And if that Solana goes down to being worth 1,200, that Solana immediately gets sold, pays me back plus interest. And I can withdraw my interest plus my deposit whenever I want. Whenever I want. No permission needed, I can do it instantly. I show you how to do all that. And I show you my 3 favorite places to do that, okay? And then we get into the next strategy, which is Be the House. There's 2 main places that I like to do this, right? Including the one that I showed you that's paid almost 70% over the last year. Being the house, again, is about being the casino, being on the other side of the gamblers, right? But in crypto, the gamblers are traders, right? They do longs and shorts and take on leverage, all that stuff. They lose, like 90% of them lose in the long run. It's not even close. So a lot of money is to be made by being the house, the casino, because the house always wins. So those first 2 strategies are mostly about getting yield on stablecoin. And then the third strategy what I was talking about was being Coinbase. I also call it being Visa, because how does Visa make money? Well, every time someone does a transaction, Visa charges the merchant a fee. So it's kind of the same thing. But I show you my 3 favorite places, step-by-step videos. This is the one that I was showing you where I'm earning Bitcoin and stablecoin. This is my favorite place to earn Bitcoin. This is my favorite place to earn Solana. And this is my favorite place to earn Ethereum. And I show you step-by-step how to do all that stuff. So that's the course right there. I show you step-by-step how to set up your wallets, deposit in your wallets, use them, keep them safe, how to withdraw, and I show you the three strategies, and I show you the 8 best places to do them. 3 be the banks, 2 be the house, 3 being Coinbase, right? And that's pretty much the course right there. The whole thing is 3 to 4 hours long, and it's pretty dense, but it's very step-by-step. Do this, then do this, then do this. And I also have a lot of troubleshooting in there. Like, you'll see me on some of the videos run into some kind of problems. That's exaggerative, but some little kind of road bumps, and you'll see how I navigate them. So it's extra helpful in that way. I could have just cut that stuff out and made it much more smooth, but I was like, no, when I run into any kind of road bumps, I want to show them how to navigate it. So believe me, I'm importing everything I know to you, bringing you straight to the places that I actually use and taking you step by step, even if you're a complete newbie, to doing this stuff. And once you do this stuff, well, now you know how to do it. Now you have the skill, which is an asset. And before long, all of a sudden, you come over here and you deposit. Where did I put it? You go over here and all of a sudden you're like, hey, 45 days later, I took $2,200 and I made this much in Bitcoin and stablecoin. And there's no reason you couldn't do more than $2,200. I don't think you should start there. I don't care if you're a multimillionaire. I still think you should start with $100 or less, just to learn how to click the buttons and ride the bicycle, to build your comfort and experience level. I hope that part makes sense. But there's no reason, like, let me tell you, like, this isn't the only wallet I'm doing this with. This is probably the smallest wallet I'm doing this with. But I keep showing this one for consistency, and because this number is a number, $2,200 is a number people can look at and go, I can do that. I'm comfortable with that amount of money. And by the way, I didn't even mention this particular site, it has a point system. So why would a site, let me ask you real quick, why would a site be giving me points? Do you guys know? Why would a site be giving me points? Will this live be available to rewatch or share? I think so. I think so. Great language, straight to the point. I try to be. I appreciate that. There's no such thing as risk-free. There's nothing in the world is risk-free, right? Life itself is risky. It's so risky, none of us are getting out alive. But I deem the risk as being very low. Would I put my life savings into this? No, because to account for things I couldn't possibly account for. But to use a percentage of my portfolio to put over there, to put to work, and that's why it's very important to make sure that the sites you're using have a reputable team, have a reputable history, have good liquidity, etc. And that's why I show you the 3. There's only 3 that I use. Mauricio said no. I forgot what my question was. Oh, points. This is really going to get you too. So the reason this site has points is because they don't have a token yet. So by using this site, they give you points. And when they have a token in the future, guess what? They're going to give you, like for free, give you some of their token. It's called an airdrop. Have you guys ever heard of an airdrop before? Put a 1 in the chat if you have. Put a 2 if you haven't. Mauricio said no. 1. So that's what an airdrop is, like Uniswap. You guys heard of Uniswap? They did an airdrop, right? So people that used their protocol, when Uniswap didn't have a token, and then when it made a token, it gave a bunch of their tokens out to people that used them, their customers, their supporters. That's kind of the main way that most tokens you've ever bought come into existence. When they make a token, they give a lot of it out to their actual users. That's most tokens in crypto. That's where they started. And that's still the main way that they happen. So this protocol over here doesn't have a token yet. And when it does, guess what? It's going to give you some of their token. Just completely just give it to you. Now, when are they going to do that? I have no idea. Do I think it'll make you super rich? No, but it's a really nice bonus, right? For me, for where I'm at with this wallet, I'm guessing it'll translate to somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000, right? Just to get handed $1,000 to $3,000 of their token, fantastic. Extra bonus, not the reason I'm here, but it's a nice bonus. See, but if you put stablecoin 1,000 and someone takes your stablecoin depositing 1,500 SOL, when the SOL drops to 1,200, you said there's no risk. Oh yes, in that way, absolutely. Because the protocol will immediately sell their Solana to pay you back plus your interest. Yeah, in that way, absolutely. Can you talk about risk being bank, Coinbase, and house? The biggest risk is you making a mistake. And that's why it's so important to get guidance on how to do it. And also, most of your mistakes that you make are going to be front loaded when you're brand new. That's why I say start with a small amount of money, like $100 or less. And before long, you'll be like, I got the hang of this. It's like riding a bike. You know, at first it's a little shaky, even though someone's helping you. But the next thing you know, like you just ride it. Except for this is easier than riding a bike, in my opinion. But those are the biggest risks. The other risk would be, well, what if the site gets hacked, right? That's always a risk no matter what you're doing. I deem the risk of that as being extremely low, right? But the biggest risk by far is you making a mistake, right? And you don't want to go connecting to some brand new site you've never seen, okay? You making a mistake is the biggest risk. And that's why in the beginning, like I said, keep the amount small and make sure you get good guidance. Like I said, you can do nothing. You can go try to learn this for free, which you can absolutely do, which is better than doing nothing. But it's going to be filled with a lot more pain, frustration, and mistakes, which are probably going to be financial mistakes. I would say those are really the risks. Now, I wouldn't dump my life savings into this. I'm not a fan of putting all my eggs in one basket, but I have a pretty good chunk of money across several different wallets in these places earning me Bitcoin every day, which is another reason why my yield that I get, my Bitcoin and stablecoin that I earn, I send those off somewhere else. I send my Bitcoin to a different wallet. I don't deposit into anything. I just leave it there, the Bitcoin I earn. And the stablecoin I send off to another protocol. The one some of what I'm using right now is this other one that doesn't have a token yet. It's also giving me points. Let me go over here. I might have my wallet connected. But nonetheless, this one has a points. I have some points. So give me one. This one doesn't pay the best at the moment. But nonetheless, it does pay some. So I'll deposit some over here. I got some of the dollars that I've earned. I've just deposited them in here, and some of the hype that I've earned, I've deposited it over here. And then the Bitcoin I've earned, I've just sent that off to a different wallet. Would you like to know where to go get the course now? Let me know. I hope I've explained it enough. Would you like to know where to go get the course now? I just try to explain all of it. Try to help people get as informed as possible before I even talk about where to get it or if to get it. Mauricio says yes. So let me show you again what you're going to get. Right? It's going to be this video step-by-step training, and here's the actual, look at my weird face before I got a haircut. You go through here. I'll show you how to get free Bitcoin just by setting this up. If you don't have a Coinbase account, that's going to give you $30 right there. I'm assuming most of you have that though. But I'll bet a lot of you don't have Gemini, right? $50 in free Bitcoin. If you're in the US, I bet you don't have a Fold account, $20. Not to mention every gift card you buy gives you really nice Bitcoin back. Very powerful. And then we get into the training, right? Let me make it smaller. Then we get into training how to set up your wallets correctly and safely, how to fund them, withdraw from them, etc. And then we get into the training. My 3 favorite be the bank places, which is getting yield on stablecoin, getting yield on lending stablecoin, and be the house, which you're also lending stablecoin, but you're really being the casino and you're benefiting from the traders, gamblers, losing. These are all step-by-step videos. And then being coin. Sorry, someone just called and it broke everything. Favorite place to earn Solana, favorite place to earn Ethereum, okay? All videos step by step. And, you know, to be straight up, like, I want to make sure, I'll tell you what the price is, but I want to make sure you understand the value. Like, if someone shows you how to take $2,200 and in 45 days earn $700 of Bitcoin and stablecoin, like, that's pretty valuable, right? That's pretty valuable. If I said, hey, I'm charging $1,000 to teach you this skill that's going to serve you for years and years and years, and it actually won't be long before you even get your money back, because you could put more in here anyways if you wanted to, but I wouldn't start there. Like, it'd be worth at least $1,000. And straight up, like, that is what I normally charge for this course. I normally charge $1,000 for this course, but if you get it during the stream, I'll be on here for 10, 15 more minutes, because I believe in fast action. I believe in disempowering procrastination and empowering action. So you're not going to pay $1,000 for this course, and it's a one-time payment. The course is yours forever. If you get it during the stream, you can get it for less than $100, $97.99. But you got to get it during the stream. I'm going to be on here about 15 more minutes. This is rewarding action takers and penalizing procrastinators, but mostly rewarding action takers. And there's the link right there, dailycryptobull.com. Take a screenshot if that helps you. And after you're done checking out, you'll get brought to this page. This is the thank you page. When you're done checking out, this right here will take you straight to the trainings. You click this button, this link, it'll bring you right over here to the trainings. Just like that. So you'll get instant access. You'll also get some emails that come to you with links to the training. But you'll get instant access just like this, being able to click it. And that's the link right there. Normally $1,000, you can see it's well worth it. But during the stream, $97.99, not even $100. Anyone can afford that. Most people probably spent more than that at the bar this weekend. People don't hesitate to drop $100 on a few beers at a football game. People go buy $200-$300 pairs of shoes they don't even use all the time. $100 to invest in yourself, your education, gaining a skill. What a deal. What a fucking deal. But you got about 10 minutes. And then I'm ending the stream and price is going back up. Rewarding action. Do you have a course for trading indicators? How to read the market? I do, but I'm not offering it currently. Main reason being is because I feel the best way I can actually help people is by teaching you DeFi. Because DeFi, like I said, most traders by far lose money. But in DeFi, you don't have to lose money. You can be passive, go about your life, and just be accumulating Bitcoin, stablecoin, Ethereum, Solana. I just think that's the most powerful thing I could possibly give somebody that's a crypto investor. So that's the only thing I'm offering right now. And for the foreseeable future, I don't know why this isn't what I would be offering, especially when the market conditions we're in, etc. Is there passive income for XRP? There is not, no, there is not. Because no one uses the XRP network, so there's no volume on it. Is impermanent loss somehow related to what you talked about before? Yes, when you do decentralized exchanges, there is impermanent loss. It's a word that's much scarier sounding than it actually is. Because nonetheless, if you're, say for instance, if you're comfortable buying Bitcoin at say 80K, right? And you know the long term it's going up. If it goes down to 40, you're fine, you're just gonna buy more. Over time, like really think about this. Over the last about 45 days, right, on $2,200, 600 plus 1,600, 22. Over the last 45 days, I've earned about 50, I've earned what? I don't know, what is that? I've earned almost 760, almost $770 in Bitcoin and stablecoin mostly. Impermanent loss doesn't really play that much of a role when you're getting this kind of yield. And it's called impermanent because it's not permanent. Say I'm in a Bitcoin position like this. Well, say Bitcoin price goes down, well, then I'm going to experience impermanent loss, which means impermanently the value of my position will have dropped. Well, if I'm holding Bitcoin, its value is going to drop anyways. So I might as well be getting some really good yield on it. Those are my thoughts. And it's not something to look at day to day like, oh, my position is worth less than it was yesterday. Or, oh, my position is worth more than it was yesterday. I don't pay attention to what the position's value is at all. I just look at what the yield is that I'm getting. Because over time, that stacks up like crazy. It's not going to take me very long before I've accumulated more in fees than my original position was even worth. And again, 45 days ago, it was worth about $2,200. And today, it's worth about $2,200. It went down to being worth about $2,000. It went up to being worth about $2,400. Impermanent gain and impermanent loss. But I keep getting these nice fees. And that's the whole strategy behind it. And again, another reason that I say start small so you can get the feel for that. So to make yield, there must be volume. Absolutely. Some days there's more volume, some days there's less. But again, it's about averaging out over time. Like a few days ago, I was making like 180% yield. Today I'm making like in the 30s. It averages out in the time I've been doing it to north of 100%. And again, that's how I've accumulated. And depending on what position you get in, right? The hyper liquid Bitcoin position, it's rarely below 100%. It's commonly in 200-300% zone. And these are all things to learn. The worst thing you can do is to do nothing. It's important to get on this stuff immediately. I'm going to be on the stream, 10 more minutes maybe? So I'll show you the link again. There's the link. Normally $1,000, not even $100 during the stream. Is $100 going to send you to the poorhouse? Is that even really much money? No. But it's enough that if you pay it, you're much more likely to pay attention. If I gave you this course for free, I guarantee almost none of you would ever even open it. Because I've given away amazing stuff for free. People don't even open it. I've been given amazing stuff for free. I don't even open it. But when I buy something, I open it. When people have bought things from me, regardless if it was good or not, they were always good. They open it. They go through it. So if I want you to get this skill, you have to actually put some skin in the game. You have to invest in yourself. And I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, but promote action. That's why you're on the stream. I've spent all this time explaining it to you, showing you the benefits, and then giving you a no-brainer ability to say yes. That's my goal. So to make Sol ETH Binance Smart Chain has the biggest volume. Is there BNB yield options? There probably is. BNB is just not one that I use. With that being said, after you learn this stuff, you will definitely have the ability, right, and skills to go explore it yourself if you want to. Because that's the beauty of getting these skills, is that now you can go navigate a new world. And you'll come back to me and you'll go, bro, that was by far the best $98 I ever spent. How long is it going to take you to make back $98? What's the risk here? There isn't really any risk. And by the way, if you go through the course and you're like, this isn't worth $98, I'll give you your money back. I've never had anyone say that to me, but the offer stands. Because once you go through it and you actually use some of it, you'll come to me and say what most people say, which is, I can't believe you only charged me $98 for this. I absolutely understand why you normally charge $1,000. And that's what you'll experience. I'm on my phone. We'll buy after stream ends. When the stream is over, I'm going to put the price back up. So I don't know if you can. Like, there's a reason that I reward action. Like, feel free to leave the stream and go get it. Because anything I'm going to say right now isn't going to be more valuable than you getting the course. That's the most valuable thing you could do right now. Something to think about. Any other questions? I liked the one about the XRP and the Binance Smart Chain. Those were good. I'm leaving now. Please show the site again. Give me 10 minutes. You got, because I do got to get going. There's the link. It's just my name.com, dailycryptobull.com. Take a screenshot if that helps. I appreciate you being on here. I'm glad I was able to get the light bulbs going for you. And when you get the course, be sure to get on it, right? Don't let it collect dust. Don't say, I'm going to get to it next weekend. Just open it up. Just start going through it. They're videos. They're good videos. And they expand dramatically on what I've taught you so far today. That's what I say to anyone that goes and gets it. Okay? Just open it up. Get to it. And don't skip the first steps. I mean, let me remind everybody that, I'm charging $98 if you get it during the stream. Well, most of you are going to get $50 to $100 in free Bitcoin just by doing these first 3 simple steps. Right? So that like pays for it already. I try to make it as no-brainer as possible. I really do. Mauricio says, I just bought it. Appreciate you, Mauricio. When you buy it, you also support the channel. You help me keep the lights on and keep this going. So thank you. And I don't take it lightly. I appreciate that you allow me to guide you on this DeFi journey. Now, don't let it collect dust. Open that shit up and get to it. You don't have to get it all done in a day, but don't let procrastination take over, because once you learn this stuff, and it won't take long, now you have it, and it's going to serve you for years and years to come. And you can teach it to other people you care about. You can teach it to your kids if you got kids, your spouse, your siblings, maybe your parents. Your parents might be too old, just to be honest. Like, the older people are, the harder it is to understand tech at all. They're still trying to figure out how to use a fucking phone. But you get my point. I'm glad you guys came over here from TikTok. I'm glad I brought it up during TikTok. And then I'm glad I moved this over here, and I'm glad those of you that were really interested came over. And I'm glad I was able to just with much less censorship, just share what it is and how it works. Because on TikTok, the last time I started talking about this, it flagged me. Because when I started, I think because when I started showing those numbers, its automated system just thought I was showing something too good to be true and just flagged it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Mauricio says, thank you, I will get on it now. Good. Best thing you can do. And again, you don't need to do the whole thing right away, but I really suggest, I have it set up in the order I have it set up in for a reason, right? Watch the intro, claim your free Bitcoin on those sites, and then set up your wallets. And then I suggest picking 1B the bank, 1B the house, and 1B Coinbase strategy to use, okay? And it doesn't matter, both wallets, the Solana wallet and the Ethereum wallet, Phantom and Rabi, both of them can work with both of them can't work with all those sites, but each of them can work with at least one of each of those sites, those strategies. Because once you learn to do that stuff, because it's also about after you actually do it, it's about getting used to it, because you'll be excited, you'll be nervous, even if it's a little bit of money, and just start with a little bit of money, right? Because you'll get used to it and you'll be comfortable and you can add more and you'll learn some things, because the course is meant to bring you 95% of the way. But that final 5%, no one can give you. It just comes from doing. And that's why I say start small, just to fill in that 5%. And before long, that 5% is filled up and you know what the fuck you're doing. And then you can add and you can move, and then you'll be a DeFi wizard. And then you'll be teaching people. You'll be sitting here like me going, bro, you know about DeFi? Because once you start using DeFi and you start actually benefiting from it, it's like you've been eating gruel your whole life, right? And then all of a sudden you try ice cream. And you're like, holy mother of God, ice cream is good. I don't want any more gruel. Once you try DeFi, it's like eating ice cream. You're like, this is so good. And then what happens? You want to go tell other people, hey, you got to try this ice cream thing. It's amazing. What's going to drive you nuts is they're going to go, no. Does it taste like gruel? You'll go, no, it fucking tastes way better than gruel. They'll go, nah, I only like gruel. It'll drive you nuts. I deal with it every day. All right, y'all. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. There's the link. For 5 more minutes, normally $1,000, you can get it for $98, $97.99. You get this whole course, videos step by step. Right off the bat, I'll show you how to claim up to $100 in Bitcoin. That pays for the course already, straight up. Not to mention what that Bitcoin's worth in the future, right? And then step-by-step video training, setting up your wallets, learning the first strategy, which is be the bank, getting yield on stablecoin by being the bank, getting yield on stablecoin by being the house, the casino, and then being Coinbase. Getting paid a fee for every transaction everybody does. And I show you the best place to earn Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum. And these are the ones that I've used, I've used probably close to 1,000 different DeFi protocols in my 6 years of DeFi. And by the way, DeFi has only been around for like 7 years. I'm an OG motherfucker in DeFi. You're gonna have a very hard time finding someone that knows as much and has much experience in DeFi as I do. So I just say that to say, I know what I'm talking about. And you could go out and you would have to learn a lot of hard lessons, try a lot of scammy sites that you wouldn't even know they're scammy sites. I cut all that shit out for you and say, these are the ones to use. These are the ones I use from all my experience. These are the best ones, the safest ones, and they give the best returns. And you'll learn why. So 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Any last questions? By the way, I'll show you the link one more time. There's the link, dailycryptobull.com. Take a screenshot if you need to. During the stream, normally $1,000, but during the stream, big action discount, $97.99. When the stream is over in 3 minutes, it goes back up to $1,000. And when you're done checking out, you'll end up on this page. All you got to do, you just click this, boom, click, bring you right over to the trainings. And you get to see that mean mug right there. Boy, not my best day, but whatever. And then there's all the videos right there, going right through. This is the better view that I show you, but this is what the actual page looks like, right? All these videos. Instant access. There's the link. All right, y'all, 2 minutes. 2 minutes and the price goes back up. Any last questions or anything that's keeping you from hopping over the fence and going and getting this? Just bought the course? Thank you, ABC. Like I was saying, Mauricio, you also support the channel, right? You help me keep the lights on when you do that. I appreciate that. And I also don't take for granted that I get to guide you through DeFi, and I appreciate you allowing me to do that. And just like I told Mauricio, don't let that shit collect dust. Open it up and get on it. Because once you learn this stuff, once you do it, there's no going back. It changes the way you see things. And even more importantly, you've acquired the skill, which is an asset for you that will pay you for years and years and years and years to come. I mean, the skill of passively earning Bitcoin, stablecoin, Ethereum, Solana, what a fucking skill. That's pretty high up there. ABC, glad I found the channel. Me too. Me too. All right, y'all, 1 minute. And I got to get going. Which means the discount also goes away in 1 minute. Any last questions? Anything that is stopping you from taking this little leap into investing a little bit of money in yourself? In my life, there has been nothing that has given me a better ROI than investing in myself, in my education, in my skills. Nothing by far has given me a better ROI. I remember the first time I really put some money on the line for like a mentor. It was in real estate. I paid this guy $10,000 which was I was in my 20s, an incredible, disgusting amount of money for me. But I gave it to him because I knew his help, his guidance, his mentorship was going to make me a lot more money than that. And it did. Over the course of what I learned from him, I made millions of dollars. 10 grand. He deserved so much more. Nothing. And I've also, like I said, I've found when I get even courses, there's been courses I've bought for $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, that the return I got on them was insane. But I'll tell you, I've gotten really good information from people for free. And I've done almost nothing with it. Seriously, I've bought courses on things that I've already learned for free, just so, because there'd be a little bit extra to it, you know? But I knew that if I put some money on the line, some skin in the game, I knew I was more likely to get out of my own way and actually take action. And that's why I charge for stuff. And frankly, you know, you guys got it for $98 today, those of you that were smart enough to get it like Mauricio and ABC. Maybe other people got it too, but those are the only two that told me. I need to charge more for it. And that's why it's normally $1,000, but you know, during the stream, I make it like a no-brainer, but I probably won't even offer that big of a discount anymore. Because I've also found that when people pay, they pay attention, but I've found that the more a person pays, the more attention they pay. And above all, I want people to put this shit to work, because I know it will pay massive dividends on whatever their investment was. So my goal is to not just provide the information, but to help people put it to work, which isn't me. I need to set it up so that they will take action. And the more money someone puts on the line, the more likely they are to take action and try to get the most out of it. Because no one wants to lose. But when we get things for free, we have nothing to lose. So we just go about our life. Yeah. All right. Appreciate you, ABC. Hit the follow button and notifications if you haven't. For now, most of the YouTubes that I do will probably be bringing people over from TikTok, you know, to talk about this, because I want to keep talking about this, but I can't talk about it on TikTok. But yet, by far, most of my following is over on TikTok. So I'm trying to find the people that want to talk about this and bring them over here so I can talk about it, and then do exactly what I did here. Give them an opportunity to take action. But whenever you see me on here, you can ask me anything about DeFi, and I can just talk about it without having to worry, best that I know, of getting shut down like I do on TikTok. Whew. All right. Actually, I'm running a little late. I really got to go. I don't even know if I have time to change the price. So I got to run home. I got to get there and go pick up my wife. That's who called me a little bit ago. So any of you that haven't went and got it yet, it's going to take me 15, 20 minutes to get home. So you probably got the discount for 15, 20 more minutes after the stream. But after I get home, then I'm going to have the moment, well, then I got to take my wife somewhere. Maybe you got 30 minutes most before I raise the price. I'm going to end the stream, but you got maybe 30 minutes. 15 to 20 for sure, maybe 30 to get it at the discount. After that, when I actually get a chance to sit down on my computer, take a few minutes and raise the price back up, it's going back up to 1,000. So there's the link. One more time. Normally 1,000, and in about 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes, it'll be back up to 1,000. But $98. But worst of all, like, do you really want another day to go by? Like, by this time tomorrow, like, by this time tomorrow, you could have a position, a being Coinbase position put together, and you could wake up in the morning and you could see something like I do, right? Where you see, oh, I have a yield, holy shit. I earned some Bitcoin and some stable coin. The first time you see that, it feels fan-fucking-tastic. Even if it's just a little bit. And again, every one of you, when you do this, you should start small, $100 or less, because it's not about making a bunch in the beginning. It's about learning how to do it and building your comfort and experience level, which won't take you very long. But even on $100, when you wake up tomorrow and you see like 25 cents, 50 cents of Bitcoin that's yours, that you got for free while you slept, completely passive, that feeling is fucking amazing. And then for that to become your norm, where there's not a day that goes by where I don't wake up and see Bitcoin and stablecoin that I earned while I slept. You gonna let $98 stop you, really? All right, y'all, I'm taking off. I really gotta go. There's a link, screenshot it, or my name, dailycryptobull.com. I really gotta go. You got at most 30 minutes before I get a chance to actually raise that price back up. All right, y'all, I'll see you next time. Take care.